Heyo everybody, Haku here with this week's live reaction or read-through for Kubera. We have Season 3, probably episodes 26 to 28. If these three are really short, maybe I'll try to push for a fourth one, but honestly it's probably just going to be the three because like I said, I don't really want to do less than three at a time, personally speaking. I really want to read Kubera. I really do. But at the same time, this week I'm not feeling that great and I'm running behind. I still need to record One Piece after this because I'm running behind. So even though it doesn't like fit in well with, I think this section is 8 chapters long, I might just do 3. And like I said, I'm not really going to go by how long the chapters or sections are because honestly, there's not always that big of a distinction anyway. It's not always like, okay, we've got a new chapter title and things are totally different now. A lot of the time it's like, okay, we're just continuing the story that we've been continuing. We just have a different title now. And while the titles are really cool and I love how they tie into different things, it's not like a strict cutoff point most of the time. Really, even between season 1 and season 2, that was a seasonal cutoff, and that's, season 2 to season 3 is a big cutoff, but season 1 to season 2, it's kind of just continuing where we were. There's not really a strict cutoff there, even though that's an entire season cutoff. But I'm excited to read, and I do think pacing myself has been very good. I love reading Kubera. I've been praising Kubera a lot, but it's one of those things where I love it. And one of the things I love about it is that it is so much. But it is so much when it comes to so much to remember, so much to think about and consider when it comes to Kubera. And I think that pacing myself and not being able to do just an insane amount every single week, I don't even think I would want to. I mean, that sounds like a good way to get burnt out on it. Like, if I never ever did YouTube or anything, I'd probably have just marathoned it on my own really quickly. But doing it this way is so much nicer in that you hear people say it about like streaming services and stuff all the time where they drop all of the episodes for something. They drop all the episodes for something, everybody marathons it in a weekend and then forgets about it. Whereas if you're watching it like episode by episode, week by week, then you think about it, you wonder about what's coming next week, you talk about it with other people, and that's, pacing yourself out more. Kind of what happens here, and I brought it up before with when I covered Chainsaw Man. When I covered Chainsaw Man, I think there were times when I did entire volumes at a time in 1 week, so I just kind of blew through it and vaguely remembered some of the details just because I read so much, compared to this where if I only read a couple chapters at a time, then I spend the entire week thinking about, oh man, I wonder what's going to be next, and talking about it with everyone, hearing people's comments, and your comments are like directly about like 3 or so chapters instead of you having to think about what you want to say for a span of like 7 chapters. So I think it's been working in favor of my enjoyment of the series and how much I think about it and how much I actually retain. So with that, because again, it is still my first read through, really. I haven't really gone back to reread. Of course, I've seen some other, like I've seen some of Pyro's reactions before he got ahead of me, or stuff like that. So, or I've gone back to think about character rankings and read a little bit here and there, or just to refresh myself, but I haven't like really reread. So trying to remember everything on this is still my first read through. But either way, I've gotten off topic. Let's start off with episode 26, and then after each episode we'll do the blog post as usual, and I guess that's about it. We'll see how long these take. So we're starting off with blood on the papers and on the calendar. What is this? Asha. Ah, I sent you back twice, and here you are again. I'm going to have to disappear because of you, Brilith. Although it doesn't matter, since I'm done here. Insane? What are you talking about? It can't be. These people. It wasn't you, right? There's no way. Yes, the Asha you knew wouldn't do something like this. So she was even using the powers to hide her, crimes by sending Brilith back. So Brilith is getting hurt more than anyone, not just because of what the other people know because of the closeness to Asha, but Brilith is potentially getting more memories back than the others. Potentially. Okay, so forget all of this. Let's meet as friends again in N15. Okay, it was the last time. That's better for you as well, right? The value of a life, part 1. But if that is the case, then shouldn't she have remembered back in M15 when she came back the last time? And if she did remember, was she just kind of playing it off and keeping it inside? The value of a life, part 1. And also, it is, like I mentioned last time, shocking and surprising to me how I felt like we would spend more time in the world that didn't remember Asha and Sagara and all. We'd spend more time there before people started getting their memories back to establish that, world without more. But we're getting the memories back already. And also, I figured that Lise and Cossack would get back first, so that they would have to try to, again, make it in that world where only they have the memories. And other people, even if you directly bring it up to them, it's like it just, they don't properly respond to it. But we have the Atera in the HD 3D Season 3 artwork, the 4K. And we have the 34th of 3rd Kubera, N23, 5 value. No, Osfine's magic won't work. Why are her hands tied together? She kept trying to strangle herself. What? It's true. She's been like this since she collapsed. It's difficult to tell what she's saying, but since she's talking in her sleep, it's like she's dreaming. Last time she collapsed, it was different. She wasn't even asleep, just blank and staring. We couldn't do anything. But this time, dream tracking might work, right? I already sent an official letter to Rentalo. Unskilled dream tracking only damages the mind. If we're going to call someone, we need to call the leading expert in the field. But it takes too long to travel here from Rentalo. Considering the situation, she'll probably get here faster using a transcendental. There's a god with her, don't forget. And we have the same shot of this temple again. I love the recurring shot of the temple. Has basically become like a running joke at this point. Lila, I know this is sudden, but there's an urgent... If it's Brilith, I've already read the letter that was sent here. She needs someone to track her dreams. We should get there quickly. Huh? Wait, just like that? Without thinking it over? I can't guarantee the result since I don't know exactly what state Brilith is in, but it makes sense that I should try. I have a higher success rate than the others. No, the problem is whether I can take you. If you die in the process, it couldn't be any worse. Do you think I distrust you to the extent that I can't endure a transport transcendental? I may suffer some damage, but I should survive, I think. Hand injuries are easily taken care of with healing magic. Come, we need to leave. Why are you just looking at me? And she grabs onto him. There's no time to hesitate. Time is of the essence. Fine, let's go. We're going. But if things go wrong, it's not my responsibility. Even if you end up dying and going to hell, I'm not looking in on you. If you feel the least bit sorry, stop trying to scare me with childish lies about hell and blasphemy. Your insolence really goes too far. I don't know about anyone else, but you're really going to hell. Because when you die, I'll be there to give you what you deserve. And they vanish. We've arrived. I don't think I'm hurt anywhere. That's good. Let's find Brilith. And we see the damaged clothing. Chandra backs off. You're completely fine? Are you sure your skin isn't rotting off anywhere? Or is that what happens when you try to transport disbelievers? I don't see anything starting to rot. Okay, that's good. Did you just smile? No, I didn't. She sounded like she was having a bad dream until just now. I think it's died down a bit. Then, or should I try before she enters another nightmare? Dream tracking requires concentration. Please leave all of you, including Chandra. Let no one in the room until I say I'm done. If we're interrupted, both Brilith and I could end up in danger. If you don't mind, Chandra, it would be best if you guard the door. I was about to do that anyway. We'll leave her to you then. The child has given her whole life to the temple, the city, the lives of others. Please, let her wake up safely. Lila looks back to Brilith. See? There are all of these people waiting for you. Come back, Brilith. She starts fading in. This is Women's Magic Suit Fashion Fair. Brands Hela, Sabitri, Artram, Rakris, Merihorn, individuals Lut Syrafe, Lorraine Rartia, and 855 others. And 12 in Eloth. Oh, is this going to be around the first disappearance? To be continued. Interesting stuff. Okay, I like a lot of what's done here with Chandra and Lila's characters, because we saw before how Lila had her own things that she wants or doesn't want, but she's basically pulled around in all these different directions by things that people need her to do, and I think she doesn't want to risk hurting Brilith. She, not even caring about herself and what could happen to her, she doesn't want to mess up Brilith's mind, but it's sort of like one of these things where if you're the most talented heart surgeon and they're like, quickly, somebody needs emergency surgery, it's like, and it's a really difficult one, it's like, oh god, I don't want to mess it up, I don't want this to be on me, but nobody has a better chance than I do. That's where Lila's at, where it's like, I don't think she wants to mess up when it comes to Brilith's mind, but at the same time, she knows that no one can handle it as well as she can. And then Chandra wasn't even as concerned about that, but Chandra cares about Lila's safety and was like, you blaspheme all the time. If you really, truly don't believe, you're screwed here. But we see physical proof that, in spite of the way she talks and everything, she does believe. And now Chandra gets that physical proof of how she's feeling. So, really good stuff with their characters. And we're going to be getting into some crazy stuff with Brilith because, again, not sure how the memories work with, again, wouldn't she have gotten memories back in M15 that would tell about this stuff? But maybe she just pushed it down further, or maybe because Asha was around, Asha manipulated it in some way. But also, because they got their memories back, that means that Sakura should be back soon, and so should the coming of Anansha, I guess, maybe. And God Kubera potentially would be back, right? So we'll have to see what happens with all of them potentially returning, but it seems like what we're getting into, I would think, is maybe not necessarily a flashback, kind of a flashback, just told through the dream state. So it's probably going to be like trippy and weird in its own way and not exactly realistic in every way. But either way, before we continue, let's go check out the afterword. This chapter is where the mystery of year-end 12, which had been left as nothing but a plot point, is resolved. If we were to divide part 3 into the first, middle, and second halves, I think this chapter would be the highlight of the first half, or maybe the next chapter. It certainly depends on, well, we know that it's not exactly halfway through. Or maybe the next chapter. It certainly depends on what you prioritize when reading the work. Then there's the link. If you've binge-watched part 2 until it's worn out, you might know what those papers contain. That's because the exact same scenes already appeared. Then, if you're not the tagger playing rock, paper, scissors, so Chandra lost. It's not Brilith's room. That character with the curly yellow perm was often seen near Brilith in parts 1 and 2. She was called Tara at one point, but since she appeared so briefly, hardly anyone remembers her. She was the first to have the mole under her eye, but most most people assume Lila was the first. As for her appearance age, that's partly because she's a quarter-aged woman, but it looks like she's taken a good care of herself in the past 7 years, right? I just remember that she looked really, really good in the flashbacks, and then in the present time, it's like, well, then humbug? Many outfits of Eastern, Western, and nationality ambiguous styles appear in the work. This outfit's one of them. It's an outfit that just popped out of my head while thinking about, Chuseok. No, never mind that. Anyway, have a great holiday and see you again next week. We have all the cute stickers that Kurigam has been using. I say lately, but of course I'm years behind. And with that aside, really good stuff. I enjoyed the chapter a lot, already kind of gave my thoughts and review, so let's check out chapter 27. The Women's Magic Suit Fashion Fair was held in early N12. Brilith came to Eloth to fetch the staff of Agni after taking her magic exam, which means that black figure beside Brilith has to be Asha. At that time, Asha was trying to get permission from all 4 AAs to use the human search system. Okay, is it all 4 AAs is right? Asha is the one that is the AAA? Or did they mess up and this is supposed to be all 4 AAAs? I don't 100% remember. But Saha, whom Asha met first, refused to grant permission. At which point it became impossible to gather all 4 signatures. In the end, Asha changed her plans and decided to ask the one AA who supported her fully to use the system on her behalf. Okay, so the papers, the scene from last time, is probably when she got the information about the Kubera map. Brilith might be here because she's interested in the fair, but that's not the case for Asha. Asha's objective was to meet Lorraine, who'd entered several times in the fair. What was in the package they just collected? The Divine BF. You can order it from Hella's Brand Gallery. Was there anything else? Anything from a designer, for example? Yes, there was a fur cloak from Lorraine Rautia's individual exhibition, but that was a limited edition piece. You won't be able to buy it even if you head there now. She's already met Lorraine. We have The Value of a Life Part 2. Now that you're a proper magician, you need a proper magic suit. The most expensive female magic suit in existence, the Hella Divine BF. I asked them to leave out the coat that you didn't like and alter it to fit you, then added Miss Lorraine's special fur cloak. The price of the Divine BF, plus the payment for Miss Lorraine, a top-level creation magician, plus the cost of materials. Can you imagine how much this cost? It would have been free if I had asked. Did I not say? Miss Lorraine is my patron. You didn't say. Alright, I'll give you back 100 gold. Then Divine BF is 1,100 plus Lorraine's payment of 3,250. Anyway, I'm saying this cost me a lot. That's how much I want to apologize. This is to make up for how I thought you were a guy, so no hard feelings, okay? Why does it matter? Well, if you're holding a grudge against me, we can't be real friends, so why are you so fixated on friends? You're a priestess. I thought you'd be popular. Do you really have no friends? Yep. I've been a priestess since I was young. I've never had any friends who were my age. It seemed like everyone else had them, and not me. Didn't you attend an academy? What about your classmates? I was still a student when I became the priestess. The academy let me graduate early. My mother was the priestess before she died, and I was a pretty good student, so I did have people around me, but for some reason I always felt out of place. It was like they saw me as a superior, not a friend. And you think I won't? Yes. No one's ever been so rude to me before. That's what friends do, right? They swear at each other. It's a sign of affection. What books have you been reading? Why are you looking at me like that? I've read more library books than almost anyone. I have the theory down pat. I know. That's why we're similar. Or that's where we're similar. Really, did you want to be friends with me too? That's not what I meant. You're the one who begged me to be your friend. And I guess true, we saw a bit of Asha's life before back on Carte, and she would be similar in some ways to Brilith. Right, I forgot. Anyway, come on, try this out. No, not right now. Later if I need it. Going to stay here until you try it on. Stay here while I change. Okay. 30 seconds later. I want to see her wearing it. Has it been 3 minutes? 1 minute later. She's taking a while. I think it's been over 10 minutes. 2 minutes later. It's been half an hour. Why does she take so long to change? That's great. Is it her first time wearing female clothes? That's right. She can only use one arm. That was stupid of me. I should have offered to help sooner. Asha, are you having trouble putting it on? Should I help? No, I'm fine. Don't worry, it's nothing. Friends should help each... And she's surprised. So, is this... Hold on. Let me go back. We see the arm. Okay, that is the usual arm. I was like... So, is it just that even topless, it's like, are you actually a guy? Because remember, Ron saw Asha in the shower and still thought Asha was a man, right? Something strange. The scene usually changes when the dreamer's consciousness drifts away. So why am I still seeing a street which Brilith has left? Is this even Brilith's dream? There's even the human search system. It has to just be the exterior. Brilith has never been inside. I doubt it will even open. What brings you here, Lila? If you're going to walk around outside, you should really wear your mask. People might see your face under that hood. Imagine all the rumors about an unknown beautiful woman wandering Eloth. I recognized you, but almost no one else will, you know. And we have Saha, and this is weird. She's bringing up a good point. Like, she is in Brilith's dream right now, so how is it that she's able to go to a place separate from Brilith? And how is it that she's able to interact with somebody in somebody else's dream without that person there as like an observer? How could she interact with Saha without Brilith there to be the one who is a part of it? Saha. He isn't a black figure. But this is Brilith's dream. How can he... Why did you come without sending a letter? Do you need to use the human search system without telling anyone? Yes, I'm here to use the human search system. I'll enter the system and see what happens. It's the surest way to find out what this place is. Interesting. Again, could it be because of Asha's ascendance to godhood? Is this Asha's dream? Or is Asha's dream now connected to Brilith, or Brilith's dream connected to Asha, rather? Since Asha was taking like a step up to, again, not like literal the species god, but a step up to transcendence, essentially. Okay, things are getting weird, and that makes it so much more interesting, because like I said, I thought it was going to be like a flashback, but of course we would have weird, like, dreamlike things going on, like we would skip here or there through the flashback. But we're getting even more mysterious with it. Also, Brilith was super, super cute this chapter. I really loved her interactions with Asha, and the funny gag of it being like 30 seconds. What the hell? It's been like 2 minutes. 1 minute. It's been 10 minutes. What's she doing? Like, that was a really, really, really fun gag. And with that aside, let's go check out the Afterword. Afterword starts with the link, and then, looking at it this way, it's a horror movie. The reason why they appear as black figures was explained in episode 7 of part 3. Originally, the figures in the dreams are only properly visible to Brilith. To the person tracking the dream, they only appear as black figures. True, and Saha isn't to her. Is Saha's consciousness somehow living in Brilith's dream through some kind of magic? The money I wasted like that. In the story, Ron and Asha bet 10,000 gold coins each, so a few thousand might not seem like that much money, but it is a lot. It really is a lot. The reason why Asha disliked the coat as explained in Volume 3. Originally, the Divine BF has a design that is very far removed from Asha's taste. Very. Extremely. You're the first person to treat me so badly. That reason seems like something I've seen a lot in dramas. So, that's how things were back then. Is it strange that his bangs were different in N12, but his clothes were exactly the same? It was already established that Saha wore this outfit from the moment he appeared as a silhouette in Brilith's Magic Exam chapter. It got to the point where in Part 2, Ron was essentially suggesting that Saha change his single outfit. So, just the uniform, the one outfit. Okay. Again, temptation to just normally scroll down, but I gotta remember I want to kind of avoid the thumbnails just in case. But Empathy 332, I thought it was a really fun chapter again. It was really good, and I can't wait to see where it leads to because I like the ideas of us getting this weird stuff going on with Lila. I think that's really, really good. So, with that aside, let's check out episode 28. So 28 is starting with the internal design of somewhere that Brilith should have never been. So how could Brilith dream up the inside of a building that she's never been to and have it be accurate, you know? AA Lila Hemawati, entry approved. And she's actually able to use it even. Even the interior looks the same. She may have heard about it from someone, but to recreate it to this level of accuracy? It's dangerous if you take too long. Finish your search and come on out, says Saha. I know. Yes, of course you do, but you haven't used the search system for the last few years. I thought you might have forgotten. If anything goes wrong, I can just stop tracking the stream. Ask for what to search first. Name Kubera, requesting location information. Location of 25 humans determined. As I thought, this data is from N12. Yes, since the information was included in the Aero Plateau report when Asha was sentenced, Brilith would have seen it. The information must be reflected in her subconscious. No, wait. No, this wasn't what the Aero Plateau report... Error. Location of 2 humans detected. Is there some weird time stuff going on here because of Asha's time magic, and she didn't actually get Lorraine to... Again, we probably already saw that she definitely got the information from Lorraine, but I was thinking, what if she didn't actually get the information from Lorraine, but through weird time magic, this is her getting the information, and she actually gets the information from Lila. Location of 2 humans determined. Error. Location of 1 human determined. Error. Location of 0 humans determined. Error. What is... And it just keeps repeating an error, and it looks like the cities are being covered in blood. It's... Saha, what's happening? The system. Saha? And things are crumbling outside. The Value of a Life Part 3. We're back to Brilith walking in on Asha. I knew about it, but it still surprised me. I shouldn't let it show. I need to act like it's no big deal. Okay, because of the missing arm. I'll help you. I forgot you don't normally wear female clothing. That suit isn't the easiest to put on. Pavati Marut. Eep. And she guards herself, but nothing happens. I said I was fine, and you still had to barge in. Where did you leave your manners, priestess? Sorry, I didn't mean to make you mad. I just thought you might need help. I've lived with one arm for 7 years. You think I'd have difficulty putting on a suit? I'm sorry, I'll leave right now. I won't look at you, is that better? Does it change the fact that you've already seen it? You're no better than a child. I suppose no one ever got angry at you, whatever you did. I totally get why you couldn't fit in at the academy. It's always like that with kids who grow up without their parents. You're going too far. Was what I just did so bad that you think you can say whatever you want? It's not like I barged into a men's changing room. We're both girls, and I just wanted to help you change. If you wanted to hide it so much, why didn't you get a prosthetic? Well, okay, maybe going a little bit far now, Brill. Why didn't you just get a prosthetic arm fitted? I heard they look almost exactly as the real ones nowadays. If it looks the same, I might even fool myself. No, I don't think you'd forget you had it on. They need to be checked regularly and everything. It'll happen when everything's easy and comfortable enough. I'll start thinking it's not so bad to live like this. I'll want to forget about my rotten past to live on as a successful, well-respected magician. Again, Asha needed her hatred to keep going. Rotten past. She said something similar earlier as well. I wish my motives were as pure as yours. It's just wishful thinking. My path was rotten from the beginning. I can't have anything pure in my life anymore. Miss Lorraine said Asha was a survivor of Carte. Is she traumatized over what happened in N5? Maybe she thinks she can't be happy on her own when so many people died on Carte. It's like she's spending her life in mourning. She pretends to be all tough, but she's really a good person. I don't know exactly what happened, but what's wrong with becoming a successful magician? You earned it with your own hard work, all that studying and practicing. That's how you passed the magic exam. And, I saw some terrible things when I was young as well. Most of our generation did. All of us who were kids during the Age of Chaos. But it's not our fault. The Shuras chose to attack us. Our only fault was that we were powerless to fight back. And she's kind of speaking to Asha here, but she doesn't even understand how. Asha's like, yeah, that is our only fault. Or that is our only fault. So, I'm getting that power. So, you don't need to torture yourself. You can just get a prosthetic arm if you want. Some people become magicians out of a sense of duty, but most people do it to live comfortably, and there's nothing wrong with that. Most of us are like that, to differing degrees, so you can... No, I can't. The moment I settle for such a life, I'll be betraying the child I was, the child who stained her hands for her future, and the lives lost at her hands. I must not forget. I must not deny the past, because otherwise what becomes of me who has walked this path? And again, all the potential temptation, and we see even Asha crying, I feel like traveling with Lise may have ended up being, even though in a way she hated and resented Lise, at the same time, traveling with Lise and seeing the way that Lise sees the world might have been the biggest temptations for Asha to give up and betray herself. But in the end, she couldn't. Wait here, Brilith. Even if Mom doesn't come back, you have to stay here and wait until the Temple Magicians get here, okay? And we saw this in Season 1, I think. Miss Brilith, where are you? Miss Brilith. Here, she's over here. Thank gods, I'm coming. Are you hurt anywhere? And she's found by the magicians. We have the burning. And then she embraces Asha. Don't pity me. I don't need or deserve it. I'm not pitying you. I'm pitying the child you were just talking about. And Asha reacts, thank you for being on her side. And then how do we end up with the flashback we saw a couple chapters ago? The door won't open. Should I stop tracking the dream and leave for now? But, judging from what's happening, Brilith's condition may be worse. What if I can't re-enter her mind? We have a bang and the door starts creeping open. Saha? Go. Go. And save Brilith. And the world starting to collapse. And again, how can Lila do this? It's so, like she said, there are so many parts that she shouldn't be able to do. Is it just because of the connection to Asha and the fact that Asha is the focal point of Brilith's dream? And maybe because of the memories that just came back and stuff. It's so interesting. Again, things are so deep. And it feels like, again, you need your bachelor's in Kuberology to really remember every little thing that we were hinted at, because it all comes back so much. I really, again, want to go reread some more. I really want time for that. But with that aside, let's go check out the Afterword. And then, though I don't like that doing 4 this week kind of sets me up to where it's like, okay, I'm going to feel like I have to do 4 again next week. Even though I don't necessarily like that, these haven't been crazy long and I want to read more, so I probably will read episode 29. But let's go check out the Afterword first. Afterword this time needs to be translated. Sorry about that. So we have the link. There's a lot of something in Eloth. Then, how is it different from what was announced at Arrow Plateau? Why is it different? Which ones came first? If you look for a few episodes in part 2 where the search results for names appear. In the original script, they're not wearing clothes in the scene. I feel like that would have made sense for Asha, maybe not Brilith, but it feels a bit weird for two women to bother getting dressed in a situation like this, but if we talk while we're naked, we'd have to keep showing only our backs, so I really agonized over it. Since it's a webtoon expressed through drawings, I find myself struggling even with these kinds of things. In the end, I decided to have her shout Bhavati Marut and put on her clothes in the meantime. Please just assume this is what Asha was wearing under her coat. If Asha had been wearing a bra, I would have drawn the scene without hesitation, but since she doesn't wear one according to her character design, this became an issue. Then seeing blood again. And some of you were worried that the story might continue for dozens of episodes in this setting, but no, you don't need to worry about that. Honestly, dozens might be a bit much, but I would have been cool for, this entire 8 or something to take place in the dream, and maybe it still does. But I am hooked into this. I care about what was happening before, but I am totally willing with Kubera to be like, okay, we'll get back to it. I trust Kurigam with this. Like, so many other authors or series, it's like we cut away from things and then we come back and never mention it again, or we off-screen things and it's like, dang it, I really would have liked to see that off-screen, or a side tangent might not lead anywhere important, but Kurigama has sort of built up that trust where it's like, no, I am totally willing to buy in and follow the story wherever she takes it. Like, if we all of a sudden just get, if we don't continue with this and the next 5 chapters are all just back to like Airi and Clofe Cloche Hura related stuff because we haven't seen them in a bit, if we just spent the next 5 chapters on them, again, I'd be fine just following it where it goes, because I'm like, I know that we'll get back to the dream stuff and it's important. I know we'll get back to the Marina and Gantarva and Agni stuff because it's important. Like, I trust that even if we go on a side tangent to somewhere, we're gonna get back to this stuff and it's gonna be good. Like, we have built up that trust. Just like what we're doing here, I'm cool. So far this read through has been going on the dream side tangent, and I am totally cool to go into the dream stuff and get all this information about Asha and Brilith, and it develops them so much more, but also does so much for Lila. We get to see Saha again. We have the characters surrounding them like Chandra and the priests getting a little bit. Again, I am totally cool to go in this direction because I know we're going to get back to the Gantarva and Marina stuff and the Agni stuff that we stepped away from. I know we're going to get back to that stuff, and that stuff is good. So with that aside, let's go. I think this was our 3rd chapter, right? So let's go check out episode 29. Okay, and this will be the actual real last one for this week. So be careful. From here on, it's a nightmare. You're bleeding. Don't worry. There. And they're being attacked by the dark figures. As you can see, these wounds appear on their own. My body is gradually returning to how it was when I died. It shows how much time I have left. So it is interesting that he can appear before her in the dream. Again, is this like a bit of his consciousness that's left over? Because it doesn't seem like it's something that Brilith would just be able to generate. Because why would it be Saha in particular? And then, worry about yourself. We have quite a way to go to reach Brilith, and not everyone wants us to get there. And then Value of a Life Part 4. They're fighting their way through. All of the dark silhouettes. and she sees N12 711. Verdict: 29 deaths, all involuntary manslaughter. Ashirahiro fined and released. Was Sahone's insistence on the death penalty motivated by spite? Approval ratings fall to all-time low. Ashirahiro comforts other prisoners before her release. Lorraine's defense is deciding factor in trial, I assume. The human rights group said, Saha's an excellent Magic Guild president, but should not be the presiding judge of magic. He does not respect the rights of criminals, and in this particular case, I guess, or situation, he let his personal emotions, then impressed the jury with witness or something and willingness to cooperate with what she thought about Saha. Something demanded that she be executed. Saha only did what he had to do. Okay, when questioned about what she thought about Saha demanding that she be executed, she said Saha only did what he had to do, saying that everyone has different values, or his efforts to create a world. So probably this is all because of his efforts to create a world where there's, good or whatever. The 7th month, when the trial was held, did the setting change while I was inside the human search system? And this paper might not be recent if more time has passed. It's the 11th month. After the nightmare on the 21st day of this month, the dream goes back to early N12. Brilith is reliving N12 in her dreams over and over. To deny reality and cling to the past? No, the opposite. Every time the dream repeats, it gets closer to the truth. Okay, it's like she's fighting herself to try not to remember because it's too traumatic, but she's running through the dream and again, getting closer to the truth, getting closer to realizing. So it's like her brain, her dream is trying to make her remember, and her trying to strangle herself, and a lot of this other stuff it's her mind fighting itself. Part of her mind is trying to run from the trauma, and part of her mind is trying to figure it out. That paper you're holding didn't exist in the previous dream. Brilith knows that she needs to interpret the Asha she remembers in light of the facts, but it's a painful process dealing with her growing sense of betrayal and emptiness. Okay. Longang Farm, supplier of Creation brand food ingredients. This is the side of the last murder Asha committed in N12. The 3 unsolved cases. Yes, the last case of the 3. The man who died here wasn't a Kubera. He was someone sent to secretly investigate Asha on my orders. If you leave Asha and Brilith alone here, the dream will go back to the beginning. If you don't want to waste time, do whatever you can to stop Asha and wake up Brilith. I'm going to disappear soon. I can't help you. Why are you going to disappear? Because you're dead. Why does that matter in a dream? You're not a dream, are you? I've never heard of a real person like you appearing and talking to the person tracking the dream. I guess true, if you could track the dream, which is entering the dream space, you could leave a part of yourself behind in a dream space. But again, why Brilith? Maybe Saha knew that Brilith would be key to this, or maybe it's because Brilith was one of the first ones around or whatever when he was killed, right? Maybe that's why? Then, I thought something was off. Now I know for sure. You haven't learned enough about dream tracking. Will it take a long time, and we're back out? It's been 5 minutes since she arrived. They say 5 minutes in reality can be several years inside a dream. It'll work out. Anyhow, she's the top dream tracker in the field. What are you writing, by the way? Earlier I wrote to my brother in our exchange diary, and he still hasn't replied. You two still use that exchange diary? We don't use it much these days, but the situation? This might be slower than an official letter, but it's easier for him to check since he keeps the diary with him. And have you read what I wrote earlier? Lila arrived a few minutes ago and started tracking Brill's stream. This is such a useful item. She must have read the official letter. What are you doing? After I went to all the trouble of sending a message before the letter. This diary is going to expire in a few months. Let's at least make use of it while we have it. It's strange. He almost never takes this long to check. And we have it sitting there with an empty vial. Claude, is he using his death possession? And if so, we have to wonder who he's going to be possessing. Leave him be. I think he's taken some of his sleeping medicine. It'll be almost impossible to wake him up. As you thought, I'm not a dream. But you are. You can't fool my eyes. Not even with Bavadiyama, Claude. Okay, that's insane. That's such a cool twist. So this entire time, the one he had taken over was Lila. And if so, this could be very interesting for the Lila and Chandra relationship, because maybe Lila would have actually been hurt by the teleportation, but the reason she wasn't hurt is because of Claude. And so Chandra thinks that it's all good to teleport with her. Like, this could be dangerous even. He thinks it's all good to teleport with her, but it was really because of Claude's intervention. Okay. So if he tried to teleport with her in a situation where he just thought he had to do it really quickly, things could go badly and she could be hurt or killed by it. Again, at least if I am interpreting it correctly. Why are you looking like that? Do you feel guilty now that you see me dying? It's not surprising. You're the one who stopped Asha from killing Lila and let me die instead. I wasn't. I thought naturally Asha would change her target to Lee's. And is Lisa's life worth any less? You don't care what else happens, as long as Lila survives. Yes, Claude, that's exactly like you. It's fortunate at least that you take action for Lila's sake. I don't like this, but I'm going to trust in your one positive quality. Now that you've come this far, what do you think you have to do to earn Lila's understanding? Think about it, and give it your best shot. And we have screaming that catches his attention. That's so cool to think about, because again, did he just take over now, or I'm assuming that it was basically always him in Lila's place this read-through, right? After he left her before, did he make the swap then? I guess it all depends. We have to wonder when exactly it was he made the possession. But I would assume that after he threatened to kill her and stuff, I would assume it was after threatening to kill her, he went back, he took the poison, because she didn't want to do this. And I was thinking it was that, okay, she doesn't want to put Brilith in danger, but she knows that she's the best for the job. But maybe it wasn't actually her making that decision. It was she didn't want to do this because she didn't want to put Brilith in danger, but it was Claude who possessed her and made the decision. Like, again, it just depends on when exactly in the timeline he took over, but I am assuming after threatening her last read-through, I'm assuming he took over, and it was him this entire time that went with Chandra, went into the dream. I'm assuming it's been Claude this whole time. That's what I'm thinking, at least. And if so, again, that is such an incredible twist. That is such a well-written twist. That's shocking. It comes out of nowhere, but we've seen all of it. It makes total sense. Because like I was saying, I saw the vial and I was like, oh, he totally poisoned himself. And like they said, oh, you can't wake him with a sleeping medicine. He totally poisoned himself to do the death possession because that's been something that's set up that he does. And so I was like, oh, I wonder who he's possessing. And this whole time we've been following who we thought was Lila. But in reality, it's been Claude doing the possession of Lila. That's like so good. And now this is something I've mentioned before with One Piece, with a twist I really like there, where you read it and you get one interpretation of the events, but then you read it again after the twist and you see things totally differently. If this was him the whole time, this read through, the whole time, this section of the story, then that means if you go back and reread it, all of the things that we thought Lila was saying or that we thought Lila was thinking, now we look at it as, oh, it's Claude thinking this or Claude saying this. Incredibly good stuff. So good. So before I end, and dang it, I want to keep reading, but this is probably getting close to an hour. Dang it. Now I can't wait for next time. So either way, if any of what I've said is a spoiler, please don't spoil me, obviously. But let's go check out the Afterword. The Afterword this time starts with the link again. We have the advantage of having a black shape. Since they are black figures, a scene like this can appear in an all-ages webtoon. What if this scene were viewed from Brillith's perspective? To Brillith, all those black figures look like proper human forms. I will omit the details of the fight. I don't like taking up screen time fighting these lowlifes. Yeah, neither do you. But what if they aren't lowlifes? Later on, there might be times when Lise is constantly shown fighting like that. By then, a whole week's worth of footage might be filled with hardly any dialogue, just constant thumping and crashing sound effects, and then it might end. Then yeah, I can hear the sound of my blood pressure rising all the way here. Some of you seem confused about this, but that trial that took place in the year N12, that is even earlier than Kubera Part 1. The meeting held at Aero Plateau during Kubera Part 2 was N16. Okay, people getting confused on which trial they were talking about. And the current Part 3 is N23. Regarding the 3 unsolved cases, it differs a bit from what Mirha said at the Aero Plateau meeting. Mirha assumed that all 3 were Kuberas and eliminated 3 individuals, right? However, Saha claims that the last of the 3 cases was not Kubera. As to whose words are true between Mirha and Saha, if you consider who can perform the human search, the answer becomes clear quickly, doesn't it? In fact, there are other incorrect parts in Mirha's statements, but Saha did not point out such minor details, since it can be refuted without him having to. He avoids unnecessary nitpicking. Okay, that's all we get here. I don't want to be spoiled by any of the thumbnails down there. Empathy 348. This is so good. I am hooked. I love this dream stuff. I loved the stuff we were getting before in Calibloom, but here I think that this dream stuff has been so good. And with this twist, it just steps it up another level completely. Again, depending on when Claude took over and how long it's been him, but I am assuming it's been him this whole time. That's so good. It's just such a well-written twist. That's amazing. But either way, with that aside, I do still need to go record One Piece, and I need to edit this and everything, and it's already pretty late. So thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. Like if you did like the video, comment down there to tell me what you thought of this week's chapters for Kubera, and what you thought of my first thoughts and reactions. Subscribe for more Kubera, much more on the channel. If you want to help support the channel by dropping a super thanks or sharing around, it's very appreciated. If you want to help support the channel by becoming a member or patron, you get One Piece Bingo early and get your name at the end of videos. So in addition to helping me continue to make things, so thank you to people who are members and patrons. I think I already said hit join down below. Sorry, hiccup. Or go to patreon.com/Haku with the tubes, or a link will be in the description. Thank you to chosen regulars Evan Hawley and Bertie Wooster, Magical Girls DD Ben and Maru, Cherryton Student David Linkstaff, Slayer Candidates SG and Stan Cedar, and Pure Element Paterial. Thank you all so much for your support. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Also, sorry if this video, the audio is kind of messy. I feel like my voice has just not been very strong. Again, like I said, I'm not feeling the strongest. So sorry if it was a little bit quiet, but thank you for being here, and I'll see you all next time.